obviously over the line in Europe on Monday night, and I know he said after the game that the attention was straight away towards Friday, and obviously hoping to make Rovers wait a bit longer. That's the aim, probably. Yeah. We've obviously achieved the kind of first objective, which was to guarantee Europe and qualify for Europe. That's done. So now it's can we? I think it's inevitable. Rovers are going to win the league, but it's can we make them go down to Cork and have to win? So yeah, we're prepared. We started today. Obviously, gave the lads a day off after the game. Back in this morning. Some are still feeling a bit sore, so it was a light session, but it was all geared towards preparation for the game on Friday.
You say first objective. When you came in at the time, obviously the club wasn't flying high like it is now. What were the objectives, and like what was the?
Just trying to qualify for Europe.
Still on,
yeah, of course. I think that has to be the target, at least for a club like Pats. You know, you're challenging and you're up there, and so that was obviously what we spoke about trying to achieve, and delighted that we've done that now with a couple of games to spare.
It obviously would have looked like a lot of hard work at that stage to achieve it.
Probably, yeah, but that's football, isn't it? Football is funny. It's you win a couple of games, you get yourself back in touch. I think the league this year is being really competitive. I think everybody's capable of beating everybody, and so it was just trying to get a consistent run of games and a consistent run of form, which we managed to do, and got ourselves back in touch, and thankfully stayed up there.
At the time, what did you think was needed to get that consistency?
Wins. I think when you win games, it breeds confidence. Players start to believe in themselves a bit more, and it becomes a habit. And I think there's games that we probably have dropped points that we can look back on, but I know every team in the league will be doing the same. I'm sure Rovers will be thinking the league should be done and dusted already with the points they've dropped to certain teams, and we're looking and thinking if we'd have won certain games we should be ahead. But that's football. You always look at the ones that got away, and I think from our point of view we're just pleased to be done, and we always knew that it was going to be trying to get confidence and trying to get the players in a headspace where they started to believe in what they can do, and they could actually go and achieve something. So yeah, no, they've done that, and it's about not taking our eye off the ball now and focusing on the next two games and get ourselves ready for the cup final.
And that's two big 90 minutes on Friday and Monday. Were there any concerns ahead of Friday, injury-wise?
No, but we'll probably make one or two changes. Like obviously, as I said, we've fully focused now on obviously the cup final. As much as we want to make Rovers wait, we're obviously focusing on the cup final as well and making sure we have players 100% ready to go for that as well.
How beneficial is it just to have Europe out of the way and clear focus on Rovers, and kind of going into the cup final, not worrying you have to win to get into Europe in that way?
I think it's good in the sense that we can get players ready for the cup final. We have a few weeks to make sure everybody's ready and available, and we've obviously not got probably the strength and depth that we can change everyone, but we'll make a couple of changes. I think, as I said, we're obviously wanting to win the game on Friday as well, and I believe the players that will start the game will be more than capable of doing that for us. We've had relatively tight games with them, obviously the 2-0 game, and then we drew through there in the first game, and then we lost 3-2 with a late goal after, I think it was Jake.
Yeah, 2 defeats and a 2-2
draw.
Or
Ben had equalised late on, 𝗣𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗏 equalised late on, and yeah, so look, they're always competitive games, and I think it's going to be a good crowd. I believe it's a sellout again, so it's fantastic for the league, fantastic for us to have in our full house, and as I said, I've said many times before, hopefully we can give them something to cheer about and get behind.
Your back five have been very solid in the last few games. Your keeper's been outstanding. He's been one of the unsung heroes, I think, and you've got Norman and Rebben in the partnership, and Curtis is playing above his years, and obviously Breslin's probably one of the best left backs in the league. That gives you a platform, doesn't it? That back five.
Yeah. I think if you can keep clean sheets, it gives you a platform. Dean's made good saves, at key times in games, and it obviously gives you an opportunity then to to go up the other end and score. I always believe that we'll score in games. I think we've got some good attacking players that can score against anyone, and you know, I think if you're tight and you're solid at the back, you give yourself the best opportunity.
Yeah, but Linus came in. He wasn't first choice. I think he came in after 6 or 7 games this season. It's very. I
think there was two. Yeah,
a
couple of games. Darren Rogers obviously broke his thumb. I think in a warm up, and then Dean signed. He was out of contract. He signed, and he had to wait a couple of games. And I think he might have made his debut at Rovers. I think
he did.
Yeah, and 2-2 was it? The 2-2 game. Yeah.
He made a couple of great saves.
He made a couple of good saves in that game, and
come in from outside the league, not on the league, and I think he's done exceptionally well.
Yeah, no, he's done very well. So yeah, no, I think, as you said, the whole kind of back four. I don't believe it's just defenders that defend. It's the whole team that it's a collective effort. It's not. It's the same way that when the strikers score, attackers score, it's not just on them. It's the other players that have assisted or built up to it. So it's a collective effort when we score, when we defend, and we keep clean sheets. It's great for the group. Obviously, delighted for defenders. It's a big thing for defenders and goalkeepers to keep clean sheets, and you know, we'd obviously love another one on Friday.
I asked this the other night, but I probably going to ask it again. When you came in, Rovers, Pats weren't in a good particular spot, and you hadn't managed before, like in terms of the League of Ireland, fourth-line manager. For your first season to come in after a third way through the season and to lead the team to Europe, I think it's very rarely if ever been done before. When I asked you, did you surprise yourself? And you said no. You seemed very, you know, in your own mind you were fairly sure that given the right chance you could do this. But what gave you that sort of belief in yourself?
Just believe in yourself, and I don't know, it's just a self-belief that you have to have in football. I think you have to. Every footballer has it. Everybody that works in the game has to have it. If you don't have it, I think you're very, very quickly found out, and I think you're in the wrong industry if you don't have self-belief. You have to. There's many people and many pundits and experts out there that everybody has an opinion on the game, and it's just having a kind of firm belief on what you want to do, and backing yourself that you can get that message across to the players. And that's one thing that I kind of back myself on, is that I'm very clear in my instruction, and very clear that the players understand what we're looking for, and if they're not, then it's on me. That's my responsibility to make sure that they understand, and that's one thing that I think I'm quite strong at, is getting that message across. And but yeah, it's just having self-belief. I've had it throughout my whole career, and I continue to have that.
You don't have to get too emotional during games either. Don't be too high, too low. No,
well, that's it. I don't think you can. I think as a player, I kind of, when I probably later in my career, I realised that like you can't change it. You can't change what's happened. You can't fix it. You can't fix the mistake. You can try and make sure that it doesn't replicate itself. It doesn't happen again. And I think that's one thing that, again, you try and take into your coach and your management, that, you know, I'm going to make mistakes, but it's kind of learn from it and kind of make sure that it's not a repetitive thing. And if that's the case, then, you know, you're going to less likely to make the same mistake again. I think that's massive.
And you're up against a coach and fighter manager, Bradley, who's won 3 league titles, and as you say, he's almost certainly going to win a 4th. He's clearly made less mistakes than anybody else, but you've got to find some little chink in what you're doing that can maybe outwit him a little bit. Have you got something in mind you want to share with the journalists?
No, I think he's a fantastic manager. He's recruited some really good players, and they've got an unbelievable squad. I think, you know, the strength and depth, that's, I think, what every club will strive for. It's to have that strength and depth, that when you lose one player, you know, you're replacing them with a talent. And we're really pleased that we have kind of a lot of good young players coming through in our squad, so that if somebody misses out, it's an opportunity for a young player to come in. And that's kind of our model, is that, you know, we go down that route of giving young players opportunities. And, you know, I'm sure on Friday there'll be more youngsters getting opportunities to play against the best team in the country.
Just finally, you spoke with Cian Levy tonight, which seems very level-headed young fella, very grounded young fella, good talker. But you've basically given him a great chance. You believe in him, and he's taken flight the last few games. That of attacking role from midfield, driving forward with the ball. He went in a run the other night, about 40 yards, cut open a top division defence. How good is he, and how good can he become?
Yeah, no, he's excellent. I'd spoke to a lot of people on him before he signed. I know he was here previously as a kid, and he worked over at Reading. He was over at Reading with Noel Hunt, who I'm good friends with, and Noel spoke very, very highly of him. Yeah, but again, I think he's the type of character that he is. He's, as you said, very, very level-headed. He's feet on the ground. I think once he starts to probably get that self-belief in himself, I think, you know, the sky's the limit. He probably still, you know, is very modest, very humble, which, you know, he'll obviously need to keep. But I think he needs to get that belief, you know, of being the stuff that obviously the goal the other night was fantastic, but we genuinely see that every day in training. You know, one of the first sessions he had when he came back from his injury, we were doing crossing and finishing, and he must have scored 5-6 in a row, very similar. You know, and I think he's probably one of the only players that I've worked with where most of the players have come to me and gone, "Jesus, he's some player," after the session. You know, his first session. So he is a fantastic player. We're very lucky to have him. And, you know, long may that continue for him. I think he's going to have a fantastic career.
Yeah. Is he a player for a big game like Friday night, if selected?
Yeah, I don't see why not. It doesn't seem to faze him. As I said, he probably needs to back himself a little bit more at times. But, you know, he just goes out and plays the game. He's a young lad. Most of the young players don't have any fear. They just go and play, and I think that's the joy of working with young players, is that most of the experiences they're having are first time experiences, so they don't have any negative kind of feelings around it. So yeah, no, he'll very much look forward to the game, and imagine, and the rest of the boys are as well.
Have you big plans? How far can you take the club? I mean, you're in second place, you're in the cup final, you're in Europe. Yeah, no, look, I think we'll obviously see where we go. We obviously need to build a squad for next year and put a squad together. We've obviously got plenty of big games between now and the end of the season, and then we'll address it, and we'll take stock of where we are and go from there.
Just one more thing. The rivalry between two clubs. How important is it that on Friday night you don't let them, you know, be celebrating the final whistle?
Look, if they win on Friday, or they get the draw on Friday that wins the league for them, they've not won it at our place. They've won it over the course of the season. So it's not one result that determines the outcome of the season for them. So I think, as I said, it's very, very slight that they would slip up. It's up to us to try and stay there and be on the coattails just in case they do. I don't think they will. I think if they don't get the job done on Friday, I think a win down in Cork should be, not mathematically, but goal difference wise, it would take us going to Derry and probably winning 10-0 and them losing probably 5 or 6-0 to Sligo, which is, you know, it's not going to happen. So yeah, I don't think it's a case of let's not let them win it. Like, if they get a point, they obviously win the league. So it's just about us trying to perform and you know, bring the best version of ourselves to the game on Friday, and hopefully that's enough for the 3 points. And as I said, it brings it then to the Monday where they need to go to Cork and win. And if they don't win, then we have a chance on the following Friday when we go to Derry.